Hello, welcome to the preview of the Week 9 games. We'll get straight into it because we're all captivated by what apparently is still going to be Thursday night football despite some team named Green Bay having a positive COVID test, which I think just reinforces Brash's conspiracy that COVID's all a bit of a joke. Apparently the game's still going to go ahead on Thursday night, and apparently only 3 Packers will miss the game. Fui, you're looking forward to another outstanding tackling display, and what's your pick for the number of missed tackles for you guys this week?
Oh, if there was betting on it, the unders overs, I'd probably say 40, and overs would still be good money. What? I really don't. I said it before. It's gonna be a shit fest. Like, Niners don't have anyone playing anymore. Packers, have no one on defense anyway. Niners have no one on offense. I'm gonna watch it, but hopefully we get a win. I'm not expecting a win as one might think though. So we could be down to running back number 4 and 5 on the depth chart. So it's gonna be fun.
Blackie, is this Nick Mullins' emergence, or do we see the return of the great Aaron Rodgers mediocrity?
Oh, I think if Rodgers doesn't get the job done, it could be love time.
You say that every week.
And one day I'll be right.
Thanks, GG.
The love boat's just coming into dock. It's just going to take another little while. Brash, you must be feeling overwhelmed with positivity about this one. With no Dante Pettis to anchor you to the floor, I'm sure Mullins will outperform everyone's expectations.
Look, I'm just so excited about the prospect of Nick Mullins lining up under centre and doing enough to keep us in the game for a little bit. And I have a terrible feeling that the 49ers playing staff have realised that it's just not going to. It's just a bridge too far now. Kittle's now out for the year. Garoppolo's out. They traded Alexander. They cut Pettis. They cut Taylor. I think they are in full renovation mode at the moment, and I think the players sense that. There are a number of players that are coming up to free agency this year. I think you'll find they're the ones that probably perform the best between now and Christmas, and we're probably talking about guys like Verrett, who'll continue to play well, as he did last week. By the way, I don't understand why Verrett was not put on Metcalf more often.
Absolutely.
I don't know what was going on there. Again, it's almost like we just forget that the game's actually played on the field, not on the whiteboard. But I genuinely believe that they, like a lot of fans out there, probably think this is now a bridge too far. Even at 4 and 4, I hate losing, but I almost wish that we had a couple of more losses in that column at the moment.
My hot tip of the week for you, Brash. Young Alan Lazard will demonstrate to everyone just why the Packers didn't trade for a wide receiver, because he's due back for his first games for the Packers since week 3. And that was his only decent game of the year. And they were playing the Saints. He went for 8 catches, 146 yards. So my tip is Alan Lazard.
Good. Look forward to it.
There was no Adams that game, though.
Like that's ever stopped you. Moving right along from that outstanding Thursday night game, which I'm sure Aussie Dude will be tuned into, sitting on the edge of his bed with breathless anticipation. We then have your second favourite team, Brash, the mighty Russell Wilson-led Seahawks playing Josh Allen's team. In my view, Josh Allen is one of the closer young quarterbacks to kind of the mould of Russell Wilson. Doesn't have quite the same deep passing ability, but very much the same in terms of his mobility on the field. Who wins that one, the Bills or the Seahawks?
Where is that at?
Bills.
I think Buffalo will win that. I think Seattle got up for their once-a-year defensive performance. I think Buffalo found a running game last week. I think they will run and be smarter than the 49ers, and I think their defence will get after Wilson better than the 49ers will. So, and the cross country trip won't help Seattle as well. You know, they've been cross country 1 week, then back again, cross again. It's not easy on West Coast teams. I think the Bills will win because it'll be an opportunity for them to actually prove that they should be winning the AFC East, and especially with the Finns keep winning. They need to win games like this if they want to be serious about playing well in the playoffs.
Blackie, the magnificent quarterback showdown between Phillip Rivers and Lamar Jackson. Does Lamar Jackson bounce back, or do we see another, what seems to be running the risk of being a weekly regression from the Ravens quarterback?
Look, I mean, it's a game between two quarterbacks. One of them's completely cooked. Looks worse and worse each week, like knocking on death's door, and the other one's Phillip Rivers. No, it is. I think it's something I probably saw a few weeks ago. Lamar's looked very human compared to last year. They've got a few issues too. I mean, I think Patrick Queen, who's been an absolute standout for them on defense, is now on the COVID list. I think they've had a couple of players catch the supposed Rona. So, I think they've got a few issues. Some discontent in Marquise Brown. I don't think everything's going that well for them. The Colts seem to be doing really, really well in spite of their quarterback play. Jonathan Taylor, who was pretty highly regarded when he came out of college, has looked pretty ordinary. I think he's adjusting to a different running scheme, but he has the hallmarks of being a bust in the mould of Jalen Reagor.
That's a bit harsh on the running back for the Colts. Fui is the resident quarterback whisperer when you bother to show up. I'll go to the game I know you're breathlessly waiting for. Foles visits Tannehill, or alternatively Trubisky visits Tannehill. Bears-Titans, which quarterback is worse?
I like Tannehill as a quarterback. He might not have had a great game last week, and I guess he's entitled to one. But no, I don't mind Tannehill. He's always been on my list of good but not elite quarterbacks. I do have one, believe me.
You're a Packers fan. It's basically whoever's starting at quarterback is on the mediocre list.
Yeah. Bears will...
Come on, we're trying to get this done in 15 minutes, dude. Jeez.
Yeah, I know, sorry. Titans will bounce back and have a win. I just don't think the Bears... they just missed something. I'm just not sure what.
A football team. Speaking of bouncing back, Brash, does your mate Stafford bounce back against the Kirk Cousins-led Viking? Or did the Vikings for the second week in a row pull off an unexpected win?
Would it be unexpected?
It's the Vikings. When was the last one back-to-back?
Probably the last time Detroit won back-to-back, which was until last week, 2 weeks ago.
Smart ass.
I think Detroit's playing all right. Like, I'm gonna take Detroit only because of my respect for Fui and his fair and balanced view of his own football team. And if he thinks his defense is that bad, then Minnesota was an aberration. Minnesota's running the ball the way they did was an aberration, and therefore I think the Lions might be good enough to pull this one out.
So Dalvin Cook will have 2 fumbles and a net negative, yeah?
Because he'll actually go up against the defense this week. Hell bent on tackling him.
Blackie, you get the opportunity to defend and justify your favourite young quarterback in Danny Dimes going up against the exceptional genius that is Kyle Allen and the football team. Clearly, this is a key game in terms of who wins the 8th best division in football, but it's also one of the kind of contrasting quarterback styles. Who wins it?
Well, look, I actually think Giants have been all right recently. I'm not sold on Washington. I don't particularly think they care too much about winning. I think at this stage they're hoping that they can pick up Justin Fields because what they really need is another Ohio State quarterback. I think keys to the game, I'll be looking to see what Antonio Gibson does because obviously he blew up against the Cowboys, but it didn't have many college carries, but has looked pretty good And Darius Slayton.
Yes, yeah, he's see how he seems to be really adjusting well to Danny Dimes' limited ability, and they seem to be forming a bit of a partnership. Brash, who wins? Matt Ryan, Drew Lock, or should I start talking about someone other than quarterback?
Atlanta. Atlanta wins that for no logical reason.
I'm glad I came to you for the preview on that one. Fui, do you agree? Is it time for Blackie to start getting the tissues out and crying because he's going to lose again?
No, I actually think Denver will win this. I think last week was the offense is starting to come together. They brought in a few new pieces this year, so it was going to take a little while to gel. And then they had the injuries, and so I think last week was maybe just the start. And there's nothing. The Atlanta defense is a good tonic for an offense looking to get some sparks. So,
Blackie, will the Chargers choke a lead away for the 5th week in a row, or do the Raiders lead from the get-go?
I think Raiders are actually quietly a decent side. It's such a tough one. I mean, Herbert's just playing out of his mind, like not even Rookie of the Year caliber, but true MVP caliber play. He seems to put them in a good position, and then the coaching staff managed to worm them out of it. Look, you know what? I'm going to back them in. It's going to be the 5th 16-point lead they're going to blow in a row. When you're hot, you're hot.
Absolutely, and your tipping is not hot, so let's face it, we all know where that one's going. Fui, I don't know how else to describe this, but undefeated Big Fat Ben hosts the Gucci Danucci, or as maybe breaking news, do you think Jerry goes with Garrett Gilbert, who sounds like a TV character?
Well, I'm going to be completely honest here, and Roethlisberger is easily my favorite quarterback / alleged rapist in the NFL.
Wowee.
I said alleged. Pittsburgh will shit it. Like, they're going to be 8-0. I mean, it's a T-tail game just because Pittsburgh is going to score 60 points.
You've got a Carruthers signed jersey on your wall, haven't you? Let me guess. Lawrence Phillips signed helmet as well. Yeah.
Moving right along, because of course I won't have to do any editing with that little segment. Brash, I know you're going to love seeing Tua face off against short-ass Kyler Murray.
Yes, I will.
Who wins that one? And do you think Tua fumbles again this week?
Cardinals coming off a bye. Neither of them. Tua didn't exactly set the house on fire. That was more Goff losing the game for them last week. I'm still intrigued by the timing to bring Tua in, given the Dolphins are a legitimate chance to still win that division. It was sort of weird that the Bills sort of dropped off a little bit, and all of a sudden that's when Miami decided to make their quarterback change.
You've got to give him some credit, though. He survived lining up against Aaron Donald.
Yeah, true. He did, but he wasn't asked. He wasn't like some quarterbacks. I believe one of them had to throw the ball 60 times on the weekend. I think Burrows might have thrown the ball 60 times on the weekend. Like, seriously. Someone's got to tell the Bengals that Burrows isn't a rental car. You don't just drive the shit out of it because you can. I know I've got a 5-day contract here, so I'm going to drive this motherfucker hard for 5 days. It's going to do. There won't be a curb that I won't go airborne over. So I think the Cardinals will win because they've got that annoying, funky way of winning shit that happens to them once every 3 or 4 years, and this is sounds like one of those years for them. I still am not sold on Kingsbury and nor Murray, to be frank, as a quarterback. I still don't believe he can throw from the pocket, nor he ever will be able to.
I think you're right on that. I think he's Lamar Jackson Mark II.
I don't think he's even Lamar Jackson, because at least Lamar Jackson used to run on designated runs. He actually just scampers. And I'd hate to think how good he'd actually be if he didn't have the best wide receiver in the league being gifted to him either. So long way of saying I think the Cardinals win because they just have a way of fluking these wins. They have this thing every 3 or 4 years. Shit just falls in the line for them and they win. So I think they'll win.
Monday Night Football, Bill Belichick versus Adam Gase. Who's the bigger offensive genius?
It's Adam Gase for sure. There's a good chance that he's going to get Le'Veon Bell a Super Bowl. He's got Tannehill to the playoffs last year. I'm pretty impressed.
Very good. Very good.
The schedule came out after Brady was already leaving the Patriots. We all knew the Jets would be already knew the Jets would be just a burning dumpster fire. How does this game get on Monday Night Football?
Have you seen primetime games? What about? Hang on, the worst game I've ever seen was last week.
I know. How are these? But that's always got the NFC East thing bias going to it. But there is no excuse for this game to be primetime game of the week.
It is the first time in yonkity yonk that I can remember the Jets having a Monday Night Football game.
I think the last time I remember the Jets having a Monday Night Football game was when they beat the Dolphins with Curtis Martin sort of quarterback, and that's probably 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And one wonders if that was because they assumed that the Jets would have a new coach by now, and it'd be that, let's see how they play.
But everyone knew Brady wasn't going to be there.
Yeah.
So please tell me what's the angle for this game, other than it is in the East, which seems to get the bias for all media.
Yeah. Well, but they'll know they'll get viewers regardless.
True.
Well, here's my wild left field prediction. Everybody knew, because there was another really fixed date that everybody knew years ago would be an important date for some people, and that was Tuesday, November the 3rd. This game will be almost exactly a week after that, and I have a feeling that they were thinking that if we're going to put a shit show of a game on Monday Night Football, this would be the week to do it, because everybody's just desperate for some distraction from politics. So maybe it'll be a ratings success. Who knows?
So on Monday night there'll be record like people topping themselves, right? So we got to put up with Trump for another 4 years, and this is as good as football gets, is it?
That's exactly right.
So that's how you're going to cheer people up, is it? That's how you're going to cheer people up. Okay.
It will work. At least you're not a Jets fan.
That'll be like your favourite pet dying, and your idea to cheer them up is go and get the thing stuffed and send it back.
And it's like a lot of people, I think, will get a different perspective on life. Hey, at least I'm not Sam Darnold.
I can't think of one reason why this game could possibly have made the scheduling,
especially when you have Baltimore Indy the same week. Even Seattle Buffalo would have been seen as a pretty good game potentially good game of playoff teams. So.
I'd rather watch Cardinals Miami. Yeah,
clearly they need to start consulting you more on scheduling game.
Tell me tell me what one. Okay, will you give me the angle for this game?
I just did.
Okay, that's it.
It's the Monday night after the election. We've got to have a team. We've got to have a team called the Patriots playing the week after the election, so everybody remembers we're all Patriots. That's all I've got. It makes no sense. You may as well have the Texans playing the Jaguars,
Well, they could have. Well, if they really wanted to do that, they should have played it tomorrow then, on Friday, if you wanted it straight after the election.
Yeah, but see, people are in too much of a frenzy to watch then. You got to let them riot and go out and do all their stuff, and then by the following Monday, they've calmed down enough to, football, let's watch football. It's a shit game. Let's watch it. It's better than politics. Anyway.
They are the only game in town at the moment, NFL, football. Yep. There's no basketball, no hockey.
And just quietly, they are completely pissing that up against the wall, that massive commercial advantage that they've got of being the only sport.
I don't think they have to try, do they?
Well, they could be doing so much more, but they're not. Anyway, but let's move on to the undeniable game of the week, if you're a quarterback whisperer like Fooey. The two geriatrics that are still trotting around, trading records. And my question for you, Mr. Fooey, and then for the rest of the panel, is how many records will be broken in the Saints-Bucks game by quarterback?
Are we counting the one record being broken, if they alternate touchdowns?
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I think we're going to see more of a running display this week, and instead of the quarterbacks will take a bit of a backseat and just have a bit of a gentleman's agreement to not throw any touchdowns or end on the same amount for the week.
So they really just kind of stand there and look at each other. Oh, now you throw the pass. No, please, you throw the pass.
That's right.
No, you throw the pass.
Is that really how it agreement is? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're talking fantasy now, Fuey. You are talking absolute fantasy here. If you don't think they're going to go touchdown for touchdown all night.
Who has the longer touchdown, Brash? Does Drew Brees throw it 15 yards or Brady throw it 16?
You mean in the air?
That's correct. The air part of it, not yards after catch.
I've got to thank Aussie Dude for this too. Point of clarification, from the line of scrimmage or from the drop back?
On that one, I don't care. I'm just talking about who throws the ball the most distance in the air, even if they're throwing it as a backwards lateral for all.
Look, the old boy Brady can still get it out there. He can throw a moon ball as well. I think in baseball we used to call them rainbow arms, but he can still get it out there. So I'll go with him being able to throw the longer pass. But the bigger question is, can Gronkowski run 16 yards in the time it takes for Brady to drop back and throw it?
Blackie, does the old man quarterback throw to Antonio for any touchdowns this week?
I think so. I think he'll have 2 catches and one of them will be a TD, and then we'll never hear from him again.
Just wait for the impending explosion.
Speaking of impending explosions, thank you for that magnificent preview, but there was one other incident that kind of led me to a question, and that is, in week 9, can I please have your tip, Blackie, for who will be the Javon Wims of the week?
Ross Blacklock.
And does he also punch a helmet, or does he at least ask the guy to take the helmet off before he throws punches?
No, he's pretty dumb. He'll just start throwing if there's a helmet.
Fui, would it surprise you to learn that the person that was being punched by Javon Wims was the same person that Mike Thomas got into a fight with at Saints practice 2 weeks beforehand?
No, it would not.
It's like the Ben Stratton of the New Orleans Saints. Pinchy, or the Ryan Crowley, whatever you want to call it. Brash, you going to miss watching the Eagles?
Are they playing this week?
They might have a win. They're on the bye.
They're on the bye. See, there you go. See, I didn't think they were playing. No, I won't miss the Eagles.
So this is why the Bengals were happy to throw it 60 times last week, because they have a bye as well.
Yeah, I know, that's right. Put his arm on ice.
Yes.
Right. Scott Burrows has a pitch count.
It's the strongest week of bye teams, I believe, in the whole... you were asking why the Patriots and Jets were scheduled for Monday Night Football. I'm more interested in why the 4 top teams in football were all given byes on the same week. Between the Bengals, the Browns, the Rams, and the Eagles, that's some outstanding quarterback talent sitting on the sidelines there.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
The election.
That's right.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, you.
Dude.
Cheers, boys.
See you guys. Take care. Good night, boys.